this video, we are going to solve some questions regarding conditional statements, if then else, and loops. So here's a question. Write an algorithm or pseudocode that takes a student mark as input and displays a grade based on the following criteria. So we have to take a user input, the student marks. And if the marks are between 0 and 40, the grade should be displayed as fair. If the marks are between 41 and 70, then the grade should be displayed as excellent. If the marks are between 71 and 100, the grade should be displayed as marvelous. Also ensure that the program displays an appropriate error message if the marks entered are outside the valid range 0 to 100. Okay, so let's see how are we going to do this. So first, we need to take the user input from the user, like enter your marks. So for this, we need to output them on the screen so that the user knows what to enter. So we're going to tell the user enter student marks. Once we are done with this, we are going to now take an input. Now, whatever the user is going to enter is going to be stored in the variable marks. Now let's check that whatever the input is, the marks, we have to check if it's between 0 and 40, 41 and 70, and 71 and 100. So for this, we are going to use if. So we are going to check if marks is greater than or equal to 0, and we are going to use and. So if this condition is true, if the marks entered is greater than 0 and less than 40, then we have to output fair. Now, what if the marks are between 41 and 70? So we have to apply an else here. Else if. Like if this condition is not true, so else if marks is greater than or equal to 41 and marks is less than or equal to 70, then we have to output excellent. Then output. Now what if both are not true and the marks are between 71 and 100? Again, else if marks is greater than or equal to 70 and marks less than or equal to 100, then output marvelous. Here I'm going to end all the if statements for this is the first and if. This is the previous one and this is the last one and this. Now we have to check if the marks are out of range. If it means if the marks is less than 0 and greater than 100, we are going to output an error message. So if marks less than 0 or like if any one of these conditions are true, then we have to output them error and then enter. Now here in this whole program, we have a single variable, which is marks. So we are going to declare this at the start. Declare marks. And the data type for this is integer. So first we are going to ask the user, enter the student marks. And now whatever the user is going to input, it's going to be stored in this variable marks. Then we are going to use if statements to check the value for the marks. So if the marks is greater than 0 and less than 40, then we have to output fair. We have to use the and because these both conditions have to be true. Now, else, like if it's not between 0 and 40, then we have to check if it's between 41 and 70. So we are going to use else. And one more thing to keep in mind is that we have to take care of the indentation. Like if marks is greater than 0 and less than equal 40, then like you have to create a space here, and then this block has to be executed. Like this this fair is inside this if block. Now else if marks is greater than or equal to 41 and marks is less than 70, then we have to output excellent. Now these both aren't true, then we are going to check else. If marks is greater than 70 and less than 100, then we are going to output marvelous. And then I'm going to end each if statements, this one, for this one, and for this one. And at the last, I'm going to check if it is out of range, if it is less than 0, or like if either of this condition is true, then you have to output error.